Hello, everyone. Good afternoon from London. I'm Jamie Ramakati, Head of Content for Student Events at Times Higher Education, and I'm so excited to present today's webinar, the next in our series of webinars with the Duolingo English Test, all about hearing from real students. Today, you have the unique opportunity to hear from international students who went through the application process and are enrolled at top universities across the globe. You'll hear from them about their advice for navigating the application process, taking English proficiency exams, and more about their experiences on campus. Today's webinar is hosted in partnership with Duolingo English Test, and I'm very happy to hand over in a moment to Caroline Fisher, who's the test taker liaison at Duolingo English Test. She'll begin with a brief overview of DET, and then you'll hear from students. You have the opportunity to ask questions throughout today's session, so please use the Q&A function at the bottom of the screen to put your questions in, and we'll get to as many of those as we can at the end. And without further ado, I will hand over to Caroline.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today, or if you're watching this after the fact, thanks for watching along with us. As Jamie said, my name is Caroline. I work at Duolingo on the Duolingo English Test team, and my job is to connect with test takers all around the world. So I'm super happy today to be joined by 4 of my student advisors who are former test takers who sit on a board with me to help advise the Duolingo team on all things test taker experience. So like Jamie said, I'm going to move super quickly through my little overview here of the test, just in case it's new to you. And then we'll get to the interesting part, which is hearing from our students all about their stories and experiences. So here I am. I'm Caroline. Like I said, I work specifically on the test taker experience here on the DET team. And I am coming to you from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which is where Duolingo is headquartered. And yeah, we will be talking a little bit about test readiness today, which is another of my favorite topics to talk about. So you can also find me on YouTube if you're interested in more about the Duolingo English Test from my perspective. It is on the Duolingo English Test YouTube channel. So if you haven't ever heard of the Duolingo English Test, or as most students call it, the DET, it is the world's first online, on-demand English proficiency test. It is a high-stakes English proficiency test used mostly for university admissions. And as I said, the one major difference between the DET and other tests is that we created the DET online. You can take it 24 hours a day at any time of the day. And it only takes 1 hour and you will get your results within 48 hours. So some of the favorite test taker benefits of the DET are that, again, it's convenient. We do not have test centers. Your test center is your house. It is your laptop. So all you need to take the DET is a laptop and a strong internet connection. As I said, it's faster than many traditional tests. You will finish in 1 hour and you will get your results in those 2 days. Oh, and you can share those results once you receive them with institutions immediately. The test is affordable. It's only $49 US. And again, sharing your results is always free to an unlimited number of institutions. The test is accurate. It's based off of the latest assessment science, and we have an incredible team of researchers here who developed the test using cutting-edge AI as well as assessment science to assure that the test is reliable and secure. And finally, it's trusted. We have over 4,000 accepting programs right now, and we are adding to that number every day. As you'll see from our students today, our universities are all over the world. Like I said, we're continuing to add to that list. You can find them all at englishtest.duolingo.com/institutions. Here's an image of what it looks like. You can search by the name or location. So if you're interested in a specific country or a specific territory or city even, you can search here and make sure you're filtering by undergraduate or graduate program. Here's a couple of ways to get to know the test better. First is to take a practice test. We have an unlimited number of free practice tests on our website. This is a 15-minute version of the real test, and it will help you get a feel for what your testing experience would be like if you were taking the real hour-long test. You can also check out our test taker guide. This is a document that has all the information you could ever want or need about the Duolingo English test, and that is available to everyone for free at englishtest.duolingo.com/guide. And finally, like I mentioned, you can find us on YouTube, where we make videos all about different topics, test questions, test rules and requirements, ways to prepare your space for the test. And that is just youtube.com/Duolingo English Test. So to review, the test is convenient, fast, affordable, accurate, and trusted. And it can be a very convenient option for you if you are in the midst of applying to English-speaking universities. And with all of that said, I'm going to hand it over to my wonderful student advisors who are here with us today, and they're just going to talk a little bit about their experiences applying and attending universities around the world. And as Jamie said, again, please feel free to ask questions. You can use that Q&A feature to do that. And otherwise, we will see you at the end. Thank you so much. I'm going to pass it off to Zach first.
Thanks so much, Caroline. So hi, everyone. I'm Zach, and I moved from Switzerland to the UK. I'm studying medical biosciences at Imperial College London. And so let's look at kind of how I got here. So it started as this dream to go and study in the UK. I think I was quite drawn to kind of the reputations of some of the unis like Oxford and Cambridge, and this kind of idea of excellence. But this became a lot more concrete when I realized that for the fields that I'm interested in, so medicine and biosciences, the top 3 ranked universities in Europe are actually in the UK. And as I started looking at how to apply, I realized that all these different universities have so much documentation that you need to submit. So one of the first things I did was create this kind of timeline, which included a plan of when I was going to work on preparing these different things like personal statements and references, and also by when I had to submit them. And so one of these things that I had to make time for was the Duolingo English test to prove my English proficiency. And yeah, as Caroline said, it was really convenient. So in total, I applied to 5 universities, which is the maximum that you can do in the UK. And I chose them based off of their ranking, so academically, but also things that would influence my life outside of my studies, so like the location. I ended up getting offers from 4 out of my 5 choices, and I went with one of my top choices, Imperial College London. So there you can see a picture of me the evening that I landed in London, and I rushed straight to campus, so I was very excited. And yeah, if I could get the next slide. So in all, it's really been great so far. I've really been enjoying it. The way I like to summarize it is hard work, but I knew what I was signing up for, so it's been very rewarding. On the left, you can see me and my lab team in year 1. That's us doing some tissue culture work. And in the middle, you can see me accepting the Academic Excellence Prize in year 1, which I'm quite proud of. And then finally, there's a picture from one of our largest social events last year, which I think was the Christmas dinner. So aside from the academic side, which I think, yeah, has been what I've expected and more, so it's really been, I've been quite blown away by that. I really think the amount of international students at Imperial has been like this great opportunity to meet, on the one hand, quite like-minded people, but on the other hand, everyone has different backgrounds. So I think I've really made some lifelong friends here. And it's just underlined the importance of me of having a nice social support network outside of, you know, the academic side. Yeah, so my advice to everyone looking to study abroad would be to prepare in advance. It's really never too early to start thinking about what you want to study and where you'd like to do it. You could start by looking at different courses or universities in different countries, thinking about, you know, on an academic side, how is the course delivered and how does this differ between universities? Then what do people that do that degree end up going on to do career-wise? Can you see yourself in some of these fields? Does it appeal to you? And then also think about the fact that outside of the 9 to 5, 5 days a week, you will be spending the rest of your time outside of university. So do have a good think about the country you're applying to, if you're going to be studying more in a city or a campus setting, and then think about accommodations. So is it provided in year one, or is that something you need to organize yourself? One thing that I think has proved very important, especially for younger students like myself, is it's also good to think about your support network. So do you have friends that might study in the same country or even in the same city? Do you maybe have relatives nearby, let's say, in the same country or maybe in other countries? Because if you're, moving very far away from your family when you're quite young, sometimes in order to ease the transition into this new setting, it is quite useful to have some support there and some familiarity. And finally, think about the social and extracurricular culture. So are you more of a big city person, or do you not mind kind of being within the little kind of university campus bubble like you'd have in, say, Bath or Oxford or Cambridge? And yeah, so all in all, just get ready for an amazing experience. I think studying abroad's been one of the best decisions I've made. I've grown a lot from it. I've learned so much. And yeah, wishing all of you the best of luck in your journeys to apply abroad. And yeah, I'll hand over to Junko.
Thanks, Zach. Hello. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're good.
Okay. So hi, everybody. My name is Zheng Kehe, and I'm from China. So I'm a master's student in the digital media and education program from University College London. And so today I'd like to share with you guys some of my application advice and my journey, my experience. And the first part is about my journey and why I studied abroad in UK. So I think there have a lot of reasons. So at first, I got some inspirations from past exchange study in the United States, actually, exactly in the UCLA. So after that, I think I can get more international insights and great digital strategies from international universities and global markets. So I decided to study abroad. And after, so why I choose the United Kingdom? So after comparing the locations, the programs, duration, and future plan, so I just pay my attention to UK universities because the UK universities master course have a more flexible duration, and we can choose 1 year or part-time program according to our needs. And its max cities such as London is friendly for me to get engaged in digital media industry and education industry. So finally, I choose 4 programs from UK and Europe. So a lot of UK universities accepted the Duolingo English Test results, which really saved me a lot of time and money. And it's really convenient for me. And so the second part is when I got the offers. So I totally got 3 offers from UCL and other 2 universities from the London. And the last one and is the dream offer is came from the UCL. So I still remember I was so excited since I was selected out of more than 3,000 applicants. And in our program, I just be selected out of more than 1,000 applicants. And so why I finally chose my dream offer is I think there exists 3 reasons. And the first is I choose this program because it have a great course design. It have a good balance in the theory and practice. For master students, we must consider about our future career. So the practice is also an important part. And the second factor is that I think it's have a great resources, not only from the UCL, but also from the London. Just as I mentioned before, we can get a lot of resources to get engaged in the media or the education industry in London. And the final one is about the program's reputation. They have a long history. And besides, the education field in the UCL always have the first place in the global ranking. So I think that's really a great way for me to start my studying here. And There is a fun fact that actually at the same time I got an offer from the I got a job offer from the Chinese National Central Enterprise. So considering all of this COVID limitations and other things, so I decided to got a full-time full-time work. And after that, I did defer my offer. So here I come to continue my study in UCL. So the second part is about share something about my experience. So the first thing is that actually our course have a lot of collaboration. And for example, we have a collaboration with the British Film Institute. It's really excited for me to be selected that our team's short film was screened in the BFI. And the second part is just like some our course design. Just like we can learn some game design for the education and literature, how to combine them for students to study better. And the second part is about the website creation. We can have some opportunities to us to get some great practice in digital area. And the third part is about some unforgettable experience, just like I have a piano solo performance in the anniversary concert in UCL. And besides, I also have some extra curriculum volunteer, just like I get engaged in the Age UK, which is one of the largest charity for the older people in the UK. And I just served as a digital support for the elderly people to use the digital resources. And the second part is about my advice. So the first part is about the application preparation, just like Zach mentioned before. I think we need to prepare the application at least 1 year in advance, because as we can see, a lot of programs there, due to the high volume of the application, they will close earlier. So we must pay our attention to that. And besides, some program will require us more documents, such as a course description, which will take us a lot of time to complete. And the second point is about the prepare the language test scores. I think it's better to prepare it 6 months in advance. Maybe some people will say it's too late, because some English tests will be canceled, or some of them will have a long time to waiting for the results. But so actually last year I made that situation, because due to the COVID limitation, actually a lot of English tests were canceled. So I found this great opportunity to take the Duolingo English Test. I really do. I do recommend you guys to have a try about the Duolingo English Test, because it's really save our time and money, because we will wait we will not wait too long for the results, and it's really convenient for us to do some practice during its website. And the third point is about to pay attention to our PS and CV. Actually, I think we must check the course description carefully, because some programs are very competitive. So if we don't make a matching PS and CV, we will be refused, especially for the master program. And the second part is the last part is about what to expect. So I think when we get into the university, we really need to make full use of the university resources, such as the libraries. As far as I know, a lot of UK students will have the access to get all of the library resources from all around the UK. And besides, we must make full use of the career centers. Maybe we'll get some guidance. And the final part is about the mental support. We can get some mental support from the student health team. And the last one is about the special project and extra curricular activities. Actually, in London or in UK, we have so many exchange programs and international volunteer project. So we can just make full use of them. So that's I want to share with you guys. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Leonardo. I am from Brazil. I am studying business administration at the United Institute of Technology in the United States. And about my journey, basically how I chose my list of universities, I decided to divide in 3 main topics. The first one, as a business entrepreneur, I chose to look at universities for those who have like startup incubators, for me that I could develop myself with projects and even startups, obviously. And also at the second topic, I chose about international diversity. For me, it's extremely important to be at a place that I have so many different sides, cultural backgrounds, because I would grow even more as a person, and especially as a professional as well, being an open-minded, especially at this time, that is extremely important. And least but not last is about business internships. At Illinois Institute of Technology, you guys will see in the future. I will share a little bit later, but I am happy, to be honest. Actually, like opportunities and a lot to develop myself as a professional and as a personal. And decided about my university after I was offered so many acceptance, I decided about place, resources, and social life. For me, it's extremely important to balance studies and social life to prevent my emotionally and I would say my mind. But yeah, a little bit more about my experience, I think. Yeah, at Illinois Institute of Technology, I received so many opportunities about internships and hackathons and competitions, even though before I came to the campus. So in Brazil, they connected me so like with so many opportunities to manage some schools, developing entrepreneur programs. So I work lecturing for students in Brazil and also presenting some programs and also participating in so many competitions. When I came here, I developed like so many projects, internships, I guess 2 or 3 at least. So has been literally a dream for me because I love that. I love being a place that I can develop myself in so many different skills. So that is helping me a lot during this process. And I think about my advices will come. Yeah, about my advices, I would say for first, be sure to organize your application. So the application process is not easy at all, but you can get as me, Zach, and so many others got. So basically, some recommendations that I would give is like Trello, Notion, Drive. You can put like all of your documents, all of your requirements, all of your deadlines, because that is gonna help you a lot during this process because it's stressful. So sometimes you cannot find like a document or your PS or your CV. So that doesn't help. Try to be as much as organized that you can be, and immerse yourself inside the language test because that can help a lot. To for yourself, if you're not English speaker, you can like trying to what in English, speak in English, even to yourself, especially when you come like to study for a GAT, that is gonna help a lot because you're gonna be immersive in the English test. And also talk to someone consistently, like to read your CV, your PS, to try interviews, because sometimes, especially for international students, it can be like a lonely process. So if you have like someone to help you during this process, it's definitely incredible to read your CV, to give you like another insight, to give you like another ideas. In what right to expect about studying abroad, definitely would say a completely new experience. You're gonna like put yourself in front of the world and you're gonna have like so many diversity, opportunities, development. So it's definitely for sure one of the best decisions, choice that I have made in my life. And self-grow, I would say that, and diverse academic projects during the whole graduation. And for sure, you're not regret of that decision. And yeah, just good luck.
Hi everyone. Can you see me and hear me? Okay. Hi everyone. I am Nafiz Ibrahim, and I'm from Bangladesh, and I'm currently studying at Monash University, and my major is computer science, and I'm also doing minor in cybersecurity. To move on, the reason for choosing studying abroad, the main thing would be for me is to explore yourself, because as such students, when we have been living in the same area or same region for a long time and we know everything, life is quite mundane, and I think you're always restricted by this systematic life, and you never get to discover or see the adventure living fully independently. So that's one of the reasons why I chose to study abroad, and that has led me to actually realize, or will actually led you to realize your potentials as well as your weakness. And the other thing would be adaptability. And I always wanted to see the challenge and how well will I fit in a different culture and how easily will I adapt. And that was the main reason for studying abroad. And moving on to the reason why I chose Australia would be, it's something I always wanted to study. One of the major reasons would be I think my family's legacy. My grandparents, my grandfather, my dad, they studied in Australia. So I was at a soft side for Australia. And moving on, I saw the top unis in Australia and I came across Monash. And I've seen a lot of people going to Monash for their PhD or master's or fellowship. And I realized I think this is going to be a good choice. And one of the main reasons would be the campus. When I was in grade 9 or 10, I used to go to Google and just search the campus or how it used to look. And that's one of the main reasons I also chose Monash. And obviously I did the professional research thing before joining. That is, does it actually match my requirements? And also, how are the departments or the field of study I will be doing? And I think it's quite important for all of us or the future students who are getting enrolled in uni should have a look. How's the position of your subject or department? And try to look at the alumni network. What are they doing? Where are they? I think it's a great indication of where the university or the subject stands. Moving on to the next slide. My journey has been so far pretty hectic, adventurous, and of course pretty cool. And as you can see, I have learned a lot of things outside of the classroom. And I think that's what makes the abroad university most interesting, that you're not only restricted or isolated by the academics or classes. And that's actually a saying from my professor, because I have this one of my favorite professors, and he always used to say, or he always says that Nafis, it's not what you learn inside the classroom, it's what you learn outside the classroom. And I that quote hits me every time, because like every day or every semester I come to realize it's not about the grades or the marks I get. It's about how I balance my life out, how you balance your sleep schedule, your studies, your jobs, your internship, and try to make a living out of it, a balanced living. And the worst thing is, since we go to abroad, and some of us don't have the best support system, some of us may do, but in worst case scenario, I think we can all agree that we have been in such times where we were in a worse scenario, and we couldn't seek out help from everyone, and it felt very demotivating, and it felt like I should have studied back in my country. It would be much more easier and simple. But then again, that's when I realized that I'm the lucky one who were able to get into this uni. And just like my professor said, that it's not about the classroom, it's about how you tackle situations and problems by yourself. That is self-reliance, right? So yeah, that has led me to develop my personal skills and career. And as you can see, my experience has been so far pretty great. I've been working with a lot of teams, projects, and internship. I'm working as a junior flight systems engineer in a small rocket farm of our uni, that is the HPR, high-powered rocketry. And in the third picture, you can see there's a poster, the Wire. It's another IT CS club, and I've been working as a sponsorship executive for the club. So I go on big companies and seek out sponsorship, and it's a great way to connect with people and seek for fun, and also connect with them and have a good wide area network you need in your future. And I also love attending conferences related to my side or subject. And I also love doing anchoring and videography and so on. As you can see, I did the commercial for my Monash College campus in 2000. In this year in February. Moving on to my main part would be the advice. So this is I'm going to be pretty honest about this, because I've seen a lot of people worry about their application, and I'm talking about the majority of the people, even myself, when I was applying. I think most of us go through this imposter or inferior phase that I've seen other people who has great achievements, got gold medals, has attended an international Olympiad and so on. How am I with a normal, regular marks and with not much extracurricular activities, supposed to get into top unis or unis in abroad? But I've come to realize that it's not about you comparing with other students or the students you see in your Facebook or the people you have heard that, oh, they have got into MIT or they have got into Oxford. It's more about comparing with yourself and trying to make yourself better, and especially the state you're in right now. And my main piece of advice would be to develop what you were from your past to the present, because that's the best development you can make. Not to compare with others, but to compare within yourself for the past 6 months or so on, and see if you have made an improvement. So, and as such, I think in my preferences, I would say apply to as many as universities as you want, and just see, even if you get rejected, doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. There's a lot of options, and I can totally say that ultimately, if you keep trying, you will end up somewhere good and you will be happy. But if you don't properly try, you will regret for the rest of your life. So getting rejection is better than not trying. Hopefully, you'll figure out everything will work out. And moving on to the next part, I would like to address the English testing part, because I think it's a vital stage of the application process. And I have had a pretty wild experience with it. That is, I first, I applied for the conventional testing system, and it was during the pandemic, and I had already gotten my offer letter. And the only drawback I had was from joining the university was the testing system, the conventional testing system. I applied or booked for, and all the tests, if you know what I'm talking about, which testing system, all the testing systems the testing centers were canceled because of pandemic and stuff, and they were keep delaying. And it was literally 1 week from expiring my acceptance letter. That means I would have to wait another 6 months to join. And in pandemic, it's a very stressful situation, just doing nothing and having to wait another 6 months. And luckily, somehow I found out the DET, the Duolingo English Testing System. And overall, the best thing would be how flexible it was and how easily affordable it was. And that has definitely played a huge impact in getting to my uni at the correct time and without no stress. And I'm really happy that there exists such system that I don't know if there's any other English testing system where you can sit down at your room with your laptop and do this test within an hour and just sleep and get the results by next 2 days. And the best part would be it's free. Like, you can literally send your applications to every uni for free. So I was really amazed, and that's how it went. Although it may seem like it's some people say that Duolingo may be a bit easier than others, but the thing is, you need to practice. The people you're seeing has already practiced a lot, and same for me. I think I had a marks of 132, and yeah, I think it was pretty good. And many people think that I just scored 120, 132, or others like Zach and others, pretty sure they have a good score as well. So other people think that, oh, it's just, I'll sit down and probably I'll just get the same marks as them. But I beg to differ is that I think we all agree we have practiced a bit. And for me, to be honest, I've practiced a lot. It's not because I'm not confident with my English or my writing skills, but it's because you need to understand the structure and how it works. Just because you know English or your writing skills are good doesn't mean that Rule A is good. So I practiced a lot. I made a Notion, like the Duolingo section, where I used to write my practice scores of every section and trying to identify the weak sections I were in. And I used to focus on them. And I remember like giving proper 8 to 10 practice tests, and I identified my weak parts. And only then after, when I was confident, I appeared the test. And that definitely helped to get a good score. So yeah, that was the part about my English testing system and how it finally made me go into my favorite university, Monash. And to give you a future advice, hopefully once everybody gets to uni, that is, like I said, it's not that, although it seems it's super fun and it's super exciting, of course it is. But then again, there will be times it will be difficult because you just don't have to study, but you also have to balance your life and so on. And you'll feel like, I will change my major. I'm not going to keep the hard major or the major I like, or I don't think I can use it. But remember, there are a lot of people, as you and me, to be honest, who couldn't go to unis like you've always dreamt of. You've already been here. So always remember that this is just a very minor or fractional phase of your life that you will pass. So give your best. And like Zach said, I really like what he pointed out, is that have a support system, support network, because it definitely helps. Know your surroundings, because you never know who you might need or who might help you out. So I would say stay connected with everyone and always have an update and connection with everyone. And most importantly, what I realized is not just to have connection with the professors or staff for academic reason, but as in general, as a friend, as a senior, have connections with the professor, talk with them, keep updated with them, because they will always help you out, and they will always guide you through your whole university journey, not just for academics. And that has actually happened to me, and I'm super grateful to my professor, especially Morgan, because I've got a lot of life advice from when I was struggling at first year. So I think it's a great opportunity, and the opportunities are endless. So keep networking, keep doing your passion or hobbies, because that's the only thing that will keep your life from getting mundane. And overall, you will enjoy the university process. That's it about from me. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you guys all so much. These are 4 incredible students, but I like ending with what Nafis said, because remember that if you are watching, you are also incredible in your own way, and there's so many paths to study abroad, and so many ways you can get there. So just believe in yourself and do your research and stay organized, and you will find the right place for you. Jamie, did we have any questions come through that we should address?
We have a couple of questions. One that I'm just going to answer quickly, which is, will students receive the recording of the webinar? And the answer is yes. Anyone who's attending today and anyone who registered but wasn't able to join us live will certainly receive a link to view the session after the fact. I know everyone shared some incredible advice, and this has been such a good opportunity for students in our audience to hear directly from students who have recently gone through this process. But we do have a couple of questions just asking for a little bit more in terms of practical advice for preparing for DET specifically. And Caroline, I don't know if you maybe want to start with that one and then ask any of the students to contribute anything. But maybe we can even, and you covered this at the start, maybe we can even just direct students to where they can find more resources for specific practical preparation for the test.
Absolutely. And thank you, students, for asking. I think one thing I always say is practice English every day. I think the test is designed to measure your true English proficiency. And while knowing, as Nafis said, what to expect is important, your English skills are the most important factor in how well you will perform on the test. And the other thing I really recommend that a lot of our test takers struggle with, it's a new kind of test. For many people, we are not used to taking tests from home. We're used to people, observing us while we take tests, and we don't have to worry about whether or not we're breaking the rules because someone will tell us. But for the Duolingo English test, there are several rules and requirements that can be considered quite strict by test takers. And this is for your own protection, to keep the test secure, to keep the test trusted by universities. But you do need to make sure you know those rules and requirements in advance. So I highly recommend using either our website or that test readiness guide that I mentioned, which is on our website, readily available, or our YouTube channel or other YouTube channels. I really like Teacher Luke. He's my favorite creator that's out there, to learn about those rules and requirements and make sure that you're following them and that you don't have any, questions or outstanding things like, is my ID going to be accepted? Is my internet fast enough? Can I wear headphones? Which the answer to that is no, by the way. Those kinds of things can jeopardize the certification of your results. And a lot of those rules are easy to avoid if you know them. So there's plenty of information out there. There's our frequently asked questions section. Our support team is available 24 hours a day via chat or email, and they can answer questions for you even before you take the test. So that's my one piece of test readiness advice. I think, of course, like practicing English and of course, knowing what to expect on the test are super important as well. I don't know if the students have any other advice about the test. Obviously, I'm coming at it from a different place, given that I work here and that I'm a native English speaker. So want to ask you guys if you had any other tips for that.
Caroline, would you mind if I give a piece of advice?
Please.
Sure, by all means.
Sure. All right. So as he was saying about the steps, I think, so aside from the steps, like Caroline mentioned, that you need to be careful of how the exam goes on. I had one friend who's like a really great student and has a great, excellent English, plus she's very ethical. But unfortunately, somehow she had an error with the exam saying that she has cheated and so on. But the problem was you need to realize that you have to be very focused towards the camera and you cannot just keep moving. The best thing is to keep going through the rules and regulation. And the best option would be go check, I forgot her name, I think Gabriella. She explains it pretty well in her YouTube videos about while you're taking the English test, be really careful about those, because it's a very important factor, because just because of one silliness, your whole, the perfect exam you gave might get canceled. And other thing is sometimes the passport thing. Sometimes it's not able to recognize because you're just holding it like not perfect. You have to be like very static with it. So yeah, keep that in mind. And best is to do some research about it in YouTube and obviously in the DET website.
Yeah, and if I could just add to something if you said so. Yeah, no, I think Caroline covered most of it. So the resources are there. I think you prepare for it the same way you'd prepare for any test, which is you get to know it. One thing I'd say is what's quite cool about the DET is in a lot of cases when a student says, oh, I'm really sorry, like I didn't realize I was breaking the rule. I do believe, Caroline, correct me if I'm wrong here, but you get another try for free. So don't be too worried about breaking the rules. I think they are pretty straightforward, and you do get another chance should something have gone wrong.
Great.
Yes,
thanks everybody. Oh, sorry, Caroline, go ahead.
I was just going to add also on that note in terms of like your performance during the test. I would say also try not to focus too much if you feel that you made a mistake, or speaking, for example. I hear a lot about the speaking sections from test takers. Speaking in another language is hard. Speaking in your own native first language is hard. If you feel like you haven't done a perfect job, try not to get hung up on that. Try to just keep moving through the test and, continue your answer like I'm doing right now. I'm kind of ad-libbing this response. That's a hard skill to do, but try not to get too focused on correcting mistakes or stumbling or pausing. It's better if you can just continue to give an open response so that there's more of your language to evaluate, and then you can hopefully get a better score on that particular section. So just a tip about that.
Thank you. And thanks, everyone. We are about out of time. I know there were a couple of other questions. As Caroline said, there are so many resources available online to help you learn about the test and prepare for it. So make sure you avail yourself of all of those resources before you register and take the test. We also have a series of webinars. I believe this is the 4th in our series of THE Student and Duolingo English Test Webinars, and the links to the previous webinars are also available through THE Student, so you can view those and learn more about the test and about how to prepare and about the rules and regulations as well. Caroline, thank you so much for being here, and a special thanks to the student panelists for being here with us. It was such a great opportunity for the students in our audience to hear directly from you about your experiences. So we really appreciate you being here to share them with us. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Sure. Thank you, Jamie. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.